Go. Hey everyone, so we're outside Central Park today. We're trying something new and we're still waiting for spring to come. We just had a little bit of sun, but the sun is going away. So today we're going to talk about communication. As you guys know, especially when you're in a multicultural relationship, and for those who don't know, I was born and raised in El Salvador, and Tina was born and raised in
China.
Right. So we both have different styles of communicating, which leads to this topic today. And we're going to give you some tips on how to manage that because it does create a level or an additional level of stress in a relationship or marriage, and something you're going to have to face. Now, realize that we all have different preferences, different ways of communicating. And one thing that you have to realize is that you have to be patient when communicating. We have different styles. Believe me, it's drastically different how I communicate versus how Tina communicates.
Tip number 1, know your communication preference and be patient.
Right, and your communication preference cannot be mind reading and expecting your partner to read your mind. And I think that's my second tip. Do not turn, and this is for men and women, not turn into that person that expects the other person to read what the heck you have in your mind. Seriously, especially for women out there. There's that stereotype, and it's a lot of times it's true, right? That you guys expect us to read your mind.
Yes, this is what I used to thought. He's supposed to understand me without I'm saying anything. And it is not true like at all. When you need something, you need to communicate. You need to let your partner know like what you really want, and then he will fulfill you. Trust me, that is a happy process. You need to change. You wanted to get the result.
Third tip, and this goes for mostly the men out here: listen and shut up. Okay, it's not about it's not about who's right or who's wrong, and it's not about being turning into a little girl and being submissive. It's about the fact that when she talks, you listen, and then you can, devour what she's saying, and then you can address your thoughts.
One thing I was going to say about listen is truly listen by your heart. 100% understand what your partner is saying when they talk to you, when they're trying to communicate with you, and to fully understand by your heart, and then you will get better to know each other.
That's actually true, and one of the things with that is when people are talking to you, especially if it's an argument or a conflict, don't get defensive. It's not about you or her being right or wrong. I know that's the first instinct, and trust me, probably the worst person when it comes to my temper. It's like one of my weaknesses, and Tina knows this. So that's something to keep in mind, that you can't get defensive, because again, when she's telling me that I'm not doing something correctly, or she's telling me something that I need to improve upon, the first reaction is, well, it's your ego is hurt, right? So
Yes.
really work on not getting defensive and try to respect your partner's.
Really have some suggestion for Marlon or for anything for us, I will wait until he's calmed down, or anytime where I have fun or relax, and then I will pull the topic out. I will say, can I have a suggestion?
Actually, that's classic Tina. And every time I hear a suggestion, I know she's gonna say, "You're doing something good, but have you tried?" I think those are some of the words that she uses. Have you tried this? You see, it sounds much better than her telling me,
I don't
"Dude,
like
you
it."
do right.
Yes.
It's not as good as it should be, or whatever." Now, that helps me a lot to appreciate her communicating style, and I think that's something I need to work on. I think my style is more of a direct. You have to realize my father was a captain in the army, and my style is more really like military. Yeah, I go to the point. I don't sugarcoat, and sometimes it's not the right thing for her. Another thing is when you do have something to criticize or something that you don't like about your partner or something they did wrong, just find a kind way to say those things because nobody wants to be told and yelled at, right? So the reality is sometimes you have to put a distance to avoid escalating things, and that's actually a good thing that we do.
Yes.
But the thing we have to work on is to address the issue much quicker, right? Because you don't want to be fighting and
Yes.
pissed off
Exactly.
for a whole day, especially when the spring is around the
Coming.
corner where we could be doing other things. One thing I wanted to say is that the thing that really becomes stressful sometimes for both of us is that first, my first language is not English. Second, her first language is
It's
not English. Obviously, she speaks Chinese, and I speak some intermediate Chinese. So we speak three languages.
We have to be
English is our
proving
second
ourselves.
language. So a lot of the times, the way Tina communicates, she just doesn't have the words. And me too. I sometimes want to say something, and I can't find the way.
Exactly.
Right, the exact form, the exact way to say it in English. And a lot of times that creates confusion, and there's the wind.
It's the spring.
We both do that, and I think we talked about this a lot. So sometimes when I'm not understanding what she's trying to say, or she doesn't understand me, we just say, you know what, let's take a break and talk about it in a minute, because sometimes it's just the way it is. We can't express our feelings in English.
Yes.
It happens. I'm sure if you guys speak multiple languages, you come across the same issue. And that's what I mentioned before. You have to be patient. Now is your turn. We'll leave you with two questions. Number one, what are some of the ways you communicate with your partner? And what are some of the tips that you have for the rest of us? And some of the things we didn't mention in this video. Number two,
Ask yourself, what is your partner's needs?
and how you can fulfill the relationship. That's the most important thing. And remember, it's not you or her or him. It's the team. So this is Team MNT, Marlon
Team
and Tina,
Marlon and
or
Tina.
Tina and Marlon. Hey
We're
guys,
in the park.
we're in Central Park, and we're just finished filming a video for YouTube on communicating with your partner.
In multicultural family and relationships.
Right, check that out. We're gonna post the link on our Facebook page and give it a thumbs up.
If you like it,